I am addicted to shiny hunting in Scarlet and Violet, so today I need to catch 50 shiny Pokemon in only 24 hours. And if I fail, every shiny I do find in this video will be surprise traded away, and all my progress will be lost. Is this challenge even possible? Well, this video gets absolutely insane, so sit back and enjoy this journey to try and catch 50 shinies in one day. Jumping right into the challenge, I had probably the best start I could have asked for, because I can without a doubt say it was my quickest shiny hunt of all time. I felt like starting off this video with a banger, so I decided to go with my absolute favorite Paradox Pokemon, Iron Valiant. So I made a sandwich to boost its spawn and shiny rates, and I kid you not, the exact moment I entered the cave in which it can spawn, the beautiful silver Iron Valiant was literally the first Pokemon to show up. I don't know how I got this lucky, but with a 24-hour time limit for 50 shinies, it was definitely the perfect start. Alright, here's how we're going to track our progress from time to time. And you already know that if I fail this challenge, everything will be surprise traded away to random people, right? Well, what I didn't tell you is that if I complete this challenge, 25 of the shiny Pokemon from this video I'll be giving away to my subscribers, which could be you. So go on, throw a Master Ball at that subscribe button and help me reach 50k. Anyways, back to the hunting. With basically my whole sandwich boost still in effect, I decided to just keep hunting and hope for another shiny Valiant, and ended up bumping into one after only 15 minutes. I'll definitely be giving one of these beauties away if I win this challenge. Since I've already gotten every Gen 9 shiny Pokemon in my previous video, I was mainly looking for outbreaks of older generation Pokemon to hunt. The first one to catch my eye was Steenie, a Pokemon I really love and one that has such a good shiny. This one only took around 10 minutes to find, surprisingly, and I then moved on to a Vespiquen outbreak. Because yeah, I'm not looking for a 12% female shiny combi. And just like that, we have managed to find 4 shinies in only 50 minutes, which is just such a good pace. Shiny hunting is so cracked in this game. Next, I decided to hunt for Voltorb, and I actually planned to trick you into thinking I failed this shiny by saving, then going up to the shiny only to explode and despawn. But it turns out, Game Freak just removed the ability for shiny Voltorbs to explode like the regular ones. I mean, technically that's a good thing, but thanks for ruining my bit, you stupid orb. Our next 2 shinies were also found extremely quickly, and those would be the red boxing gloved Makahita and the pink-tailed shiny Pachirisu, which are ones I've actually really wanted for a long time now. Then, for some reason, I decided to hunt for one of the hardest to spot shinies in all of Pokemon, shiny Ursaring. I don't know about you, but I generally have no clue how people are supposed to spot this shiny. I was about half an hour into this hunt, and I was extremely close to missing this one, because wow, his shiny just blends in with the regular Ursaring so well. Next was our first hunt that actually took a little while to find, and that would be the Tantrum Baby Toxel. He goes from purple to pink, and what was annoying is I kept thinking I found the shiny during sunset because of the lighting. It would actually make them look a lot more pink than purple. Like, these look shiny in this lighting, right? We eventually found the real one, and then moved on to another pink shiny Pokemon, Murkrow. I got really lucky with this hunt, seeing as it only took 10 minutes, and it probably really looks like I'm cheating here, because I then moved on to hunting Bonsley, because his shiny is just really good, and this one only took 8 minutes as well. We were almost 4 hours in now, and already caught 11 shinies. I then wanted to hunt for a Dunsparce, to take another crack at getting a 3-segment shiny Dunsparce. It failed last video, but maybe we can get one this time. We'd been pretty lucky up until this point, so surely we can get that 1% on our side. Nope. Maybe next video. Should evolving into a shiny Dunsparce be a tradition in my shiny hunting videos now, until I get that 3 segment? The next shiny was another one that took much longer to find than normal, but it was totally worth it. Rockruff is one of my favorite Pokemon, and his shiny turning light blue is so perfect. Not to mention how good the shinies of his evolution are too. So glad to have gotten this one, and we evolved him into the Midnight form. Such an absolute beast. Throughout this challenge, I've been dying to find a Ralts outbreak. The Ralts family has always been my favorite evolution line, with Gardevoir being one of my favorite Pokemon for years. Anyways, I plan to get one of every shiny in the Ralts family, but I've never been able to find an outbreak. Although, I happened to stumble across a Gallade outbreak. It's not Ralts, but it will make me one step closer to finishing the shiny family. He only took around 20 minutes to find, and damn, it's just such a good shiny. We'll get the rest of the Ralts line eventually. Camerupt was my next target, and although I found a great spot in the outbreak to optimize how many would spawn, it still took over an hour to find. I was then happy to spot a Lucario outbreak, because he's one of the coolest Pokemon with one of the best shinies of all time. Unfortunately, the outbreak was in a horrible spot. They for whatever reason just wouldn't spawn a whole lot and made it feel incredibly slow. It was also the first time in this video we got a shiny Pokemon we weren't hunting for. This one being Gogoat. Not a bad one by any means, but I was just annoyed it wasn't Lucario and that I had to keep hunting in this horrible spot. Perhaps the shiny Gogoat was the reincarnation of the shiny Skiddo I had to kill in my Sprigatito only video. The yellow Lucario was thankfully found 20 minutes later, and wow, just look how cool he is. I then decided to hunt for a Crabrawler. This spot wasn't wasn't too bad, besides the occasional snowstorms causing lag and distorting my view. Oh wow, is that a pink shiny Sneasel? Okay, awesome. No joke, I planned to eventually hunt Sneasel in this video, but I guess I don't really have to now. Crabrawler ended up taking roughly an hour, and honestly, it's a really cool shiny, so I can't complain about the time loss. Speaking of time loss, Houndoom was a good contributor to that. And again, despite being in a really good outbreak with lots of spawns, he managed to shave off a good hour and a half, which was annoying. Here's a quick update on how we're going. 20 Pokemon down with 10 hours off the clock. We were averaging 2 shinies an hour, which is good, but could we keep the luck up? If you're enjoying what you're seeing so far, please don't forget to critical capture that subscribe button. And don't forget, if I win this, you could be taking home one of my shinies just by being subscribed. Eevee was up next, but also put up quite a fight, taking around an hour and 10 minutes. But it was totally worth it to get this adorable Eevee footage. Just look at them all. And well, the time loss was definitely made up, because when I entered a Sotottle outbreak, his shiny popped up incredibly quick. Like, only 1 minute after entering the outbreak. And I kid you not, this didn't just happen once, because our next hunt for shiny Bronzong went exactly the same. All I had to do really was just enter the outbreak and boom, free shiny right away. I was getting a lot of cool Pokemon outbreaks in the snowy region, so I started going for a Snorunt. And wait, hold on, didn't I just get you? Well, a duplicate shiny Sneasel is definitely one I'm willing to take, because I could evolve this one into Weavile. The hunt for Snorunt wasn't too bad because I can get quite a lot to spawn, and we eventually found the blue shiny, which is one I just think looks so good. This one's for you, Nokimon, because I then evolved her into Frostlass. We then moved out of the snowy area and hunted something totally opposite, the Fire Dog Growlithe. I was worried about the lighting making it hard to spot the shiny, because it doesn't change a whole lot, but thankfully it was very easy to identify, and an absolute classic banger to add to the collection. We were now over the halfway mark. Although our luck had been extremely cracked for most of the challenge, in order to cross the goal of 50 in a day, we will somehow need to maintain that luck for another 12 hours. And believe me, you're gonna want to keep watching. I decided to make my next hunt for one of the most forgettable Pokemon of all time, but one I still really like, Tropius. He actually took quite some time to find, which wasn't good considering we needed to keep the crazy luck for as long as possible. And then came my chance for redemption. No, not for this challenge, but redemption for the shiny Hoppip I accidentally killed in my first 24-hour shiny hunting video. As soon as I saw a Hoppip outbreak, I just had to try and get the green helicopter baby again to make up for its uncalled for death. And we bumped into a shiny Fletchling. Yeah, you're not exactly who I wanted to see right now. Because this wasn't done in one sitting, and because I'd only let the 24-hour timer run when I was actually playing, I ended up losing the Hoppip outbreak because I totally forgot it would go away after 12 AM. I guess we're just not meant to have a shiny Hoppip, huh? This next hunt has been one I've been eyeing out for quite a long time, and that would be Hawlucha. And luckily his outbreak spawned a bunch, which made it really easy to find. Just look how cool he is. Then came Morgrem. If you're wondering why I've been hunting a lot of middle evolution things in this video, it's because I usually find their outbreaks first, before the pre-evolutions. And it actually helps quite a lot, because they're usually bigger and easier to see, and we cannot afford to miss any shinies, or it could be the difference between completing or failing this challenge. The whole Impidimp family of shinies is one of my favorite, because of just how insane they all look, and we eventually found the Blue Goblin to add to the vault. Hey, you know how I just said we can't afford to lose any shinies? Yeah, about that. I finally ended up finding a Marini outbreak, which is one I've been dying to get, and you may think I'm about to lose a shiny Marini, right? Nope. I failed a shiny I've been trying to get for years. Oh yes, shiny Sandigar. Oh no! Where did it go? It just despawned! That was there for like 2 seconds. What the fu- No! Are you kidding me? What? I kid you not. Sandygast was the second Pokemon I ever tried to shiny hunt back in Pokemon Moon, and I just couldn't get it. And seeing him return in Scarlet and Violet with easy shiny hunting methods has had me looking for an outbreak of him constantly. I've never once found one, and to see the shiny just randomly spawn in the wild, only to despawn the second I notice it, just killed me inside. Game Freak literally took out programming in shiny Voltorbs to not explode so people wouldn't fail them, but they can't make the draw distance for shiny Pokemon a little larger than the regular ones? Like what? We just had to move on, however. And thankfully, Marini has a really noticeable and really good looking shiny, which I've also wanted ever since Sun and Moon came out. So I evolved it into Toxapex, and I then found another Hoppip outbreak. So it was finally time to avenge the fallen shiny. This time, with absolutely no issues at all, we finally managed to find a new shiny Hoppip. And I actually saved this time around so we wouldn't fail it a second time. The next hunt was for Larvesta, because I don't usually see his outbreaks very often. He was found super quickly, and I've never noticed this until now, but Larvesta's head looks awfully similar to Arceus, especially with the yellow in its shiny. Secret evolution confirmed? I then moved on to a very underrated shiny that I've never heard anyone talk about, despite how cool it looks. Shiny Persimmon. He actually took over an hour and a half to find, but I can't complain because we now have a
shiny monkey.
Then came the hunt for the one, the only. I love his shiny, and although I plan to hunt for Fungus instead, he's just way too small and extremely hard to spot if you're not paying close attention. So Among Us it was. He also took quite a while to find, which wasn't ideal. With 35 shinies so far and only 5 hours remaining, we needed to be getting an average of 3 per hour. But luckily, the next hour was one of my luckiest in my entire shiny hunting career. It turns out I really love Sun and Moon shiny Pokemon, because I then went to hunt for a Lurantis. It's just such a cool Pokemon, and the shiny is pretty crazy, as his color palette changes to completely green, and it only took 10 minutes to find. Okay, it was time to go back to getting the Roltz family of shinies, because I managed to find my very first Roltz outbreak. As soon as I entered it, I ended up running into a shiny that wasn't Roltz, and my brain must have been turned off because it confused the hell out of me.
The f*** is that? Oh! Shiny Lechonk. I just put a psychic sandwich on. Why'd I get Lechonk?
Unfortunately, this outbreak just wasn't working. It was just in a horrible spot, but luckily, there is another shiny hunting method that I haven't really been using at all, but actually seems to be better than outbreak hunting, and I'm not sure why I hadn't started doing it earlier. That would be isolation hunting. Basically, all you need to do is find a target that you want to shiny hunt, and then find a spot where using an encounter boost sandwich will only spawn your target. Basically like what I do for my Paradox Pokemon hunts, but in the overworld and not Area 0. Luckily for me, this snowy mountain area, when influenced by a fairy encounter boost, will only spawn Roltz and Gardevoir Clutters. This would spawn them about 10 times faster than outbreaks, with only a slight decrease in shiny chances. That's if you have level 3 sparkling power, of course. My first shiny wasn't a Roltz like I expected, but a Gardevoir instead. One of the best shiny Pokemon of all time, with such a perfect blue color. I'm actually so surprised I've gone this long in Scarlet and Violet without getting one of these, considering how much I love it and how many shinies I've got. But we finally had one now, and it was a female, which is what I wanted. With how many spawns we were getting, it didn't take long to find the shiny Roltz. And again, the same thing could be said about how perfect its shiny is. The final shiny Roltz we found came in only 5 minutes after the last one, which was super helpful, and meant that after we evolved it into Curlier, we now had the full shiny Roltz family, which is just so cool. It also meant that we ended up getting 5 shinies in only 1 hour. Now I actually went back to outbreak hunting for a little bit, just because I had a bunch of good ones of Pokemon I wanted. The first was Carkol. I actually wanted a Rolycoly outbreak instead, but I'll take what I can get with how little time remains. I wasn't a fan of how slow the spawns in this outbreak were, but thankfully the hunt didn't last any longer than 25 minutes. Next up was Salandit, and wow, he is extremely good at making you think you found a shiny when you haven't. The shiny makes its body turn white, but the reflection of its skin mixed with the lighting makes them already look more white than black a lot of the times. Luckily, despite me constantly thinking I was seeing shinies, the actual shiny is as obvious as day and night. I was hoping for a female one, seeing as they're only a 10% chance, and the only way to be able to evolve him, but no luck. 8 more shinies remained with only 3 hours to go. I then moved on to Stantler pretty much because his shiny is impossible to miss, and because the outbreak was here, so why not? It took a little longer to find than I was hoping he would, but that time could be made up for, seeing as I would now exclusively be doing the isolation hunting method, which can be really fast if done right. Okay, it was time to move on to a shiny I've wanted ever since I first saw it in 2016, and one that I just failed a couple of hours ago. Shiny Sandygast. With my new knowledge on how much easier it is just to make a sandwich than it is to hunt for an outbreak of a certain Pokemon, it took no time at all to finally get this amazing black sandcastle Pokemon and add him to my shiny collection. The next day, I woke up to having a Clorf outbreak on the map, and I've only ever seen a Clorf outbreak once, and that's because I spent over 5 hours date resetting for it when the game first came out, so I had to get myself another one. And hello, tiny yellow cricket, what a pleasant surprise. Back to what I was saying, I just had to get another shiny Clorf, because I'm pretty sure he's my favorite shiny in all of Generation 9. I found a good spot in this cliff to get a bunch to spawn, and we eventually found him, and their dancing pretty much sums up my thoughts right now. Literal perfection right here. We only needed 4 more shinies, but only had an hour and a half remaining. It's still very doable, but we're gonna need some insane luck. And remember, if I fail, literally everything I've gotten up until this point will be gone forever. The next 2 Pokemon I was gonna hunt will be ones I've been eyeing out forever. Starting with Phalanx, one of my favorite Gen 8 Pokemon, because I mean, just look at them. The shiny isn't my favorite, but it's definitely a unique one that I'm still very glad to find. An hour and 10 minutes remained. Next was the Bale form of Oricorio. Lucario. I really love this one because it inverts the red and black on its feathers. And no joke, Arceus must be on my side. Seeing as this was only a 20-minute hunt, I needed 2 more shinies in only 50 minutes. It's really cutting down to the wire now. Alright, my final hunt was one I've been wanting to do for a very long time now. The hunt for the droopy and stretch form of Tatsugiri, so that I could finally have all 6 forms. If I got them both in time, it would be the perfect way to complete this challenge. However, things didn't go as planned. I made a dragon encounter and shiny boost sandwich to help isolate most of the spawns to only Tatsugiri, and just prayed I'd get lucky enough before the timer ended. 40 minutes remained, no shiny in sight. 30 minutes remained, still nothing. Oh no. I only had 10 minutes left on this sandwich boost, but then, hello shiny Dracoloak. I definitely wasn't looking for you, but I'll 100% take you right now. My sandwich boost ended, so I made a new one as quickly as possible with only 20 minutes remaining. It was getting too close for comfort. 10 minutes remained. If I didn't fail that shiny Sandagast earlier, the challenge would be completed by now. I thought it was all over, but it turns out there is a shiny god, because I ended up finding the final of 50 shinies with only 7 minutes remaining. And of course it was the shiny Tatsugiri form I already had, but that's totally fine by me because we actually did it. But it didn't stop there. Within those last 7 minutes, I came across a shiny Altaria, which is just such a good shiny that everyone loves, and I'm not even kidding. On the second last minute of the 24-hour timer, I ended up finding the stretch form of shiny Tatsugiri as the cherry on top. I cannot believe we actually pulled this off. And because I managed to complete this challenge, I'll be giving away 25 of the shinies from this video to my subscribers. So if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and in roughly a week or 2 from this video going live, I'll make a community post saying how you can have a chance at winning one of my shinies. I just want to thank you all so much for the support and making it this far, and thank you so much for watching.